On a nice foggy Delhi afternoon, which we all love, morning, because this is very rare. Otherwise, we have a lot of heat in Delhi, especially in Parliament and everywhere else. So this nice little chilly, foggy mornings are always a very welcome thing. Mr. Tharoor is in the Prime Minister's house, I'm sure discussing a lot of important things. He has said that if he does get free and he is able to come, he will come. But anyway, we will carry on with the seminar, and if he joins in, that'll be really nice. But what I thought is that we will look at all the things. The issues are obviously very, very important. And for me, since there are no politicians here for the moment, it's very important that the citizens of this country take it upon themselves that quality of education, the challenges, the opportunities in the higher education space, which concern all our children, our youth, the future of our country, is decided by the citizens. And citizens take a major initiative in how it will be imparted to our children, the quality that will be imparted, the gross enrollment ratio that has to be increased, and not leave it to just a policy statement by the HRD ministry or by UGC or anybody else, And institutions like AIU should, as an association, should take more progressive and independent stands on how education should be imparted, in which quality, equity, everything, And not just become an arm of a voice of a government, whichever government it is, and we are anyway getting into very uncertain times. Elections are around the corner, so we really can't get any major policy statements out of the Ministry of HRD or, for that matter, any of its arms. But I think even in April, we are looking at a scenario where we may not get very strong governments, may or may not, we don't know. But at least the citizens can remain strong. And citizens and people, educationists like yourselves and people who are concerned with higher education, I'm so happy all of you have come here to debate and discuss and think of ways and means of how we can lead this change ourselves and how we can force government's hands, whether it's at central level or at state levels, because in education, a lot of things are also decided at the state level, how we can really push it to become a vibrant nation and that we do not fail the youth of our country. There is, everybody talks about a demographic dividend, that's true, but it can be also a disaster if we do not properly educate them, if we do not give them the tools to fight and survive in a highly, highly competitive world environment. The opportunities are fantastic, so are the challenges. So there is a lot that we can do. And there is a lot that we as citizens and as educators, and all of you are in very high positions in your own universities or in associations or as educators or as think tanks. So please, please think a lot. I just wanted to give you one little idea before we do that. I was last month at MIT. I'm an alumni of MIT earlier. MIT and Harvard have together started what is called edX, MOOCs, massive online open courses. And now 32 universities, the best Ivy League universities, Oxford, Cambridge, the best universities in China, Europe have joined in. And all the best courses in the world, their best courses are being offered free online, free, with certification. So if you do an MIT 601, you will get grade A, B, or C, whichever way it is. And you will also get a certificate from MIT saying you have passed this course, totally free of cost. And it's not just courseware, labs. You can actually do online an experiment in genetic engineering lab at MIT online and get a certification on it. Not since they said in 1,000 years has education going to change in a dramatic way as it is changing today. How are our universities, how are our higher educational institutions going to respond to this? How are we going to make use of the fact that virtually we were talking about faculty shortage and, knowledge shortage of research shortage? That is going to be bridged very, very quickly. So how do we respond? How do we adapt to that? According to me, we have 5 universities of our own. We are converting all our faculty into saying learn MOOCs and quickly and have the MOOCs course presented on a large screen and just explain it to the students. You don't have to reinvent your own education. You're getting the best online, whatever is in the world, but it is a hybrid model. Now teach it to the students. So there's going to be a lot of changes. We have to be very, very proactive today and very adaptive and flexible. And this old thing, 50 years ago, my children learned this way or my grandchildren learned this way, and therefore I will teach my children this way, is no longer going to be true. The whole system of a teacher giving a lecture and a student listening and making notes is going to go away. We have to update ourselves very, very quickly if we have to have a modern, vibrant India where the youth can really contribute not just to India's growth, but to a world growth. Because anyway, India is among the 3 countries that will lead world growth. So there is a lot of opportunities here. Obviously, there are challenges, but that's our job. We have to meet those challenges, and we have to respond to them. Thank you.